Let's get started. गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनम् ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामविद्यवत् ॐ गणेशाय नमः ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये वागीशाद्य सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तं नमामि गजाननं वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय कोटिसूर्य समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं यस्य सन्निधि मात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम्। Let us do the Pratasmarana. Yasya sannidhi matrena sarve shishyascha sevakaah karmakshetre pravartante chinmayam tam namamyaham. Pratasmarami hridi samspuradatma tattvam Satchit Sukham Paramaham Sagatim Turiyam Yat Swapna Jagara Sushuptam Avaiti Nityam Tad Brahma Nishkalamaham Nacha Bhuta Sangaha Pratarbhajami Manasa Vachasamagambhyam Vacho Vibhanti Nikila Yadanugrahena Yanneti Neti Vachanai Nigama Vochuhu Tam Deva Deva Majamachyuta Mahuragyam Pratarnamami Tamasah Paramarkavarnam Purnam Sanatana Padam Purushottamākyam Yasminnidam Jagadasheshamasheshamurtau Rajvam Bhujangamayiva Pratibhasitam Vai Rajvam Bhujangamayiva Pratibhasitam Vai. Welcome back, everybody. Let's start with our Mangala Charana Shloka on Atma Bodha. Tapo Bhikshina Papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam Mumukshunam Apekshoyam Atma Bodho Vidhiyate. As you already know, we are studying Atma Bodha under 10 broad topics. So far, we have covered 5 of them. All these lectures are posted on Chinmaya Ramanam. So the first topic was Moksha Sadhana from shlokas 2 through 5. Then we covered the nature of samsara from 6 through 11. The topic of Adhyasa from shlokas 19 through 24. And last week, we covered the topic of the illusory ahankara from 25 through 29. Let's recap a little bit before we get into our topic today. As I've stated repeatedly, AAA is our problem. Advitiya Atma Agnanam. Because of avidya or agnana or ignorance of our true nature, we have a notion, bhranti, that I am jiva. I am a limited entity. We discussed last week in shloka number 25. There is an unholy alliance that is created, which is illusory. Of what? Atmanaha Satchidamshascha. The existence, consciousness aspect of Atman, and Buddhehe, the intellect, Dvayam Samyojya Avivekena. By the indiscriminate blending of the two, Janami iti pravartate. There arises a notion of I know, aham janami, the kartrutva bhoktrutva. See, we already know Atman is Swayam Prakasha, self-effulgent. Mind is inert matter, jada, no sentiency of its own. an alliance between matter and spirit. The Sat Chit aspect of the consciousness reflected in our mind, we call it Chidabhasa. It is not there during deep sleep. Due to this unholy alliance of this Chidabhasa, the reflected aspect of Atma in the mind, which is of the nature of thoughts, and Ahankara seems to own it up. And we superimpose all our attributes on this and say, I am a man, I am a woman, I know, I don't know. So this aham bhava, that I notion, aham karta iti ahankara. Then in shloka number 26, Atmanaha vikriya nasti. Atman does not undergo any modification or change. Buddhehe bodhona jatviti. Buddhi, the intellect, has no ability to know on its own. But jivaha sarvamalam gnatva gnata drashteti mukhyati. But because of this illusory entity created due to this superimposition, the jiva, due to delusion, downgrades itself to thinking I am the seer, I am the knower, I am the experiencer. But we know from Shastra that Atma is Nishkriya, actionless, Nirvikalpa, without modifications, Niranjana, without any stains, Nirguna, without any attributes, Nirmala, ever pure. But Buddhi is inert, Jada. There is no sentiency. Therefore, all these individual experiences, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji proved that it belonged to Mana and Buddhi. Then in the 27th shloka, Jivam Gnatva Bhayam Vahet. If we consider ourselves as Jiva, the limited ego, Bhayam Bhavet. There is fear. There is anxiety. There is agitation. How? Rajju Sarpavat. As long as I see snake on that rope due to superimposition, as long as I perceive the illusory snake and not perceive the rope, there is fear. Same way, as long as I think I am Jiva, a limited entity, I am afraid of what? Unknown future. I am suffering from the agonies of the past. Naham jivaha paratmeti gnatam chet nirbhayo bhavet. This way, Jiva claims its original identity. See, I told you last week also, one thing we must remember here, that finite can never become infinite. Infinite mistook erroneously due to wrong notion that it is a finite and a limited entity. Okay? Now, going to 28th verse. Atma avabhasayati. This self illumines what? Buddhyadini indriyani. Intellect and sense organs, and so on. Just like if you put a lamp in a jar, it illumines the whole jar. Deepaha Gatadivat. Then the last sloka, Swabodhe Nanya Bodhe Cha Bodha Rupatayatmanaha Nadipasya Anya Deepecha Swat Yatha Swatma Prakashane. Just like to know the sun, we don't need another lamp. It is Swayam Prakasha. It is Swata Siddha, self-evident. We discussed this Anavastha Dosha, the defect of infinite regression. Meaning, we do not need a consciousness 2 to know consciousness 1 and consciousness 3 to know consciousness 2, like that. Right? Now, before we enter, that's where we were last week. So before we enter, the next topic is Vedantic meditation. The crux of the matter are in these shlokas, the main pointers. The topic of Jiva Brahma Aikya. That is why it is very auspicious. Mangala Kara Stotrams. Shlokas. Through Vedanta Shravana, Manana Nididhyasana, meaning actively listening, reflecting, contemplating, and finally abiding. That is what is mentioned in these group of shlokas. We know from the Mahavakya, Tat Tvam Asi. There is a Tvam Pada Vichara, there is a Tat Pada Vichara, and there is a Asi Pada Vichara. 3 aspects of it. Shlokas 11 through 29, so far that we have covered, was about Tvam Pada. Now I have to dwell on aspects like, can I know Atma? How can I know it? Can I know one part of Atma? Can it be known at all? Now, when I do this kind of vichara or inquiry, I know Atma is Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, Beda, Rahita Atma. There are no varieties of Atma. There is no Jati, Kula, Gotra, etc. Atma is partless. Avayava. There is no Swagata Beda. There is no differentiation. Now it is Atindriya Vishaya. Means it cannot be perceived by our senses. But we know Atma is always experienced. So I turn towards scriptures to change the direction. I am searching. I am seeking. There is an old proverb which says, even if I am standing in front of the Himalayas and I am looking in the wrong direction, I cannot see the giant mountain. Same way, if I am seeing the external world, or all the sense organs are focused on external pursuits, we will continue to head in the wrong direction. So we need a GPS. What is GPS? Guru Parampara and Shastra. GPS. Which gives us these pointers for this Vedantic meditation. Please remember, the process of meditation is to remove the erroneous notion. viparita bhavana. And to see naham jivaha paratma iti jnatam. You know, it is almost spring, weather-wise. The weeds are beginning to manifest in our lawn and gardens. We need to root out its existence. Otherwise, what happens with every rain, more and more will start to come. Same way with Nididhyasana or this Vedantic meditation, we need to weed out our Anatma Vasana by Atma Chintanam. The habit formation of Atma Chintanam will happen with conviction derived from Vedanta Shravanam and reflection, which is Mananam. With that, we will enter today's topic. Shloka number 30. If you have the book, I am also trying to share it on the screen. Nishidya nikilopadhi neti neti ti vakyatah vidyadaikyam mahavakyaihi jivatma paramatmano. This is a classic shloka for Atma Anatma Vivechanam. Nikilo Padi Nishidhya. Here, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is giving a technique how one should negate all the upadhis. We may call it Panchakosha, Shariratrayam. The 5 koshas, we know what they are. Not going to go through that again. Shariratrayam, the gross body, subtle body, and causal body. Nishidhya, before negating. Negation does not mean physical destruction. Negation means na iti, na iti. This is not. This is not me. Purely an intellectual negation. See, the erroneous notion is a bhranti. A confusion is an intellectual problem. So the negation of the Atma is also an intellectual exercise. Neti neti iti vakyataha. The not this approach as outlined in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Using the support of Vakyataha, meaning the support of Mahavakyas. See, this is the quintessence of Vedanta that is found in these great declaration called Mahavakyas. I've already outlined those to you in our preliminary classes. They are numerous and appear in different places in the Vedas. But there are 4 popularly known Mahavakyas from our different Upanishads. And 1 from each Vedas. There are 4 Vedas, right? So a storyline is often told to connect the teachings in the 4 Mahavakyas, provides a roadmap to the sadhaka. Let us go through that. The first Mahavakya is Pragnanam Brahma. Consciousness is Brahman. From the Aitareya Upanishad, from the Rig Veda, it declares what? That consciousness, spiritual core that enlivens each of us is the same all-pervading consciousness in all beings and things. That is why this is called a statement of definition, Lakshana Vakya. So the Guru gives this statement and asks the student to reflect on it. So the disciple, after reflecting on Guru's teachings, still has doubts, sandeha. So in the second Mahavakya, he approaches the Guru and Guru says, Tat Tvam Asi. From the Chandogya Upanishad, Sama Veda. This is a statement of instruction, Upadesha Vakya. So the Guru tells the disciple that he is Supreme Brahman, not this limited being that he imagines himself to be. The truth is that the disciple who is seeking is none other than his own self, found to be within, which is only realized by self-inquiry. Then the third Mahavakya is Aham Brahma Asmi. I am Brahman. From the Bruhadaranyaka Upanishad, from Yajurveda. Now the disciple, after hearing Tattvamasi, goes through meditation. After overcoming his habitual thinking, comes back to the teacher, filled with his own experience, intimate experience of the truth. He experienced the nature of this Mahavakya, the statement of experience. Anubhava Vakya. Then comes the fourth popular one, I am Atma Brahma. This self is Brahman, from the Mandukya Upanishad, Atharvana Veda. Once the disciple is established in that true nature, the Guru advises him to constantly revel, abide in that true knowledge. The nature of his abidance is expressed in this Mahavakya, I am Atma Brahma. That is why it is called Anusandhana Vakya. So in the Tattvamasi, there is Tvam Pada Vichara, there is Tat Pada Vichara. So in Guru Stotram also we say, Tat Padam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And then there is Asipada Vichara. That journey leads to the conclusion that oneness between Jivatma and Paramatma. That is why our Gurudev, Puja Gurudev, used to call this infinity revealing statements. That is why Bhagavan Krishna is having the Chin Mudra. Watch my hand here on the screen. Chin Mudra. These three stand for waking, dream, and deep sleep, or gross body, subtle body, causal body. This is the Ahankara. We use this to point to others, right? It's a no-no in our Shastra. That merges with Atman, that Chin Mudra, that indicates there is no beginning, there is no end. When that merger happens, that is Jiva Brahma Aikya. Please remember that this oneness is possible only as a lakshyartha of Mahavakya, the implied meaning of the Mahavakya. Now, with that, we will enter the 31st shloka in your book. Avidyakam, let me try to share. Sorry. Avidyakam shariradi drishyam budbudavaksharam etadvilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. See, he is giving another pointer to think. The sharira adi. That means Stula Sukshma Karana Sharira. You know these terminologies now, or Avidyakam. They are born out of ignorance. And or Ksharam means perishable. We all know that. It is impermanent. How? Budbudavat. Second line. Like the bubbles in an ocean. Anything born out of avidya is drishyam, that is experienced. I've already told you, the whole universe is a projection, like snake born on the rope. It is mithya. It is illusory. Etat vilakshanam vidyat aham brahmeti nirmalam. Through discrimination, we need to realize that Atma is nirmala, pure. It is vilakshanam. It is different from the anatma. I am not drishyam, I am drukrupaha. I am nirmalam brahma. I am that pure Brahman. I am aksharam. I am imperishable. Moving on to number 32. Dehanyatvanna me janma jara karshalayadayah shabdadi vishayai sangah nirindrayataya nacha. See shlokas 31 and 32. The previous two. It gave us pointers for Shravanam. Mahavakya Shravanam. Jiva Brahma Aikyam. The oneness of Jiva and Brahma. Now, in this shloka, Deha Anyatvat. I am other than this body. Janma Jara Karsha. I am not subject to modifications. There is no birth. There is no Janma. Meaning I am Nirvikaraha. There is no modification in me. We already know gross body, our Stula Sharira, goes through 6 modifications. Shadvikaravat. Asti, Chayate, Vardate, Viparimate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyate. From birth to death, these two are the bookends. But we are going through a lot of modifications as the body grows older. Shabdadi Vishayaihi Sangaha Nirindrataya Nacha. I do not have any association with the sense organs, Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas. I am Asangaha. I am Nirvikaraha. See, these are the Swarupa Lakshana of Atma. These are the pointers. Then does the Atma have any characteristics of the mind? Let's see that in the next shloka. Shloka number 33. Amanastvanna me dukkha raga dvesha bhayadayah aprano hyamana shubhrah ityadi shruti shasanam. A very direct quote from the Upanishad. Amanasyatvat. I am other than the mind. So I am free from what? I am free from raga, dvesha, dukkha, bhaya, adaya. Sorrow, attachments, likes, dislikes, fear. All these are characteristics of the mind, all emotional impurities. Now the next line is a direct quote from Mundaka Upanishad 2-1-2. Divyo hyamurtah purushah sabhahyabhyantaro hyajah. Second line is a direct quote. Aprano hyamana shubhrah aksharat paratah parah. This is a Shruti Vakya. Shruti means Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad, to be exact. Apranaha. I am without the pranas. Amanaha. I am without mind. Shubhraha. Pure. This is how the scriptures describe the nature of Atma. Aprana indicates what? Aprana indicates I have no subtle body. Shubhraha indicates I have no causal body, no impurities. Now 34 through 39 are Nididhyasana shlokas. Very important. Number 34. Nirguno Nishkriyo. Let me share. Nirguno Nishkriyo Nityah Nirvikalpo Niranjanah Nirvikaro Nirakarah Nityamuktosmi Nirmalah. One more time. Nirguno Nishkriyo Nityah Nirvikalpo Niranjanah Nirvikaro Nirakarah Nityamuktosmi Nirmalah. In this shloka, these are pointers to Atma from the Upanishads. Nirakaraha, without any form. This indicates what? The self is not the gross body. Now you know that. There is no form. Nirvikaraha. Gross body undergoes 6 modifications from birth to death. So this nirvikara, nirakara negates the gross body. That's how we should think. That is the direction of thinking or pointing. Nishkriya, actionless. Actions are done by karmendriyas, organs of action, and pranas. They belong to the sukshma sharira, or the subtle body. So I am different from that. Nirvikalpaha, without any desires, no thought modifications. They belong to the antahkarana, the mind, intellect, memory, ego, mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. So the terms nishkriya and nirvikalpa, they indicate Atma is different from subtle body. I am nirguna. Without the gunas, sattva, rajas, tamo guna, these gunas are of the karana sharira. So, not the causal body, niranjana, untainted, nirmala, without any vasanas, without any impurities. These are all attributes of the karana sharira or causal body. So, this nididhyasana is to correct this viparita bhavana, to correct this erroneous notion. What are they? That anatmani atma buddhi. Remember that, I shared that with you. In anatma, I have the notion that that is me. Jagati satyatva buddhi. The notion that the world is real. Because of that, I feel aham parichinnaha. I am limited. I am a limited entity due to what? Mala vikshepa avarana. So I have a habit of settling down for the defective sukham, temporary sukham. Okay, now let's go to the 35th shloka. Ahamakashayavad sarvam bahirantargatochyutah sada sarvasamasiddhah sangaha nirmalo nissango nirmalo chalah. One more time. Ahamakashavad sarvam bahirantargatochyutah sada sarvasamasiddhah nissango nirmalo achalah. Akashavat, like the space. Sarvam, I fill all things, indicates the all-pervasive nature of Atma. Bahihi, without, antargataha, within, achyutaha. See, chuti means the one which changes. Achyuta means changeless. Sada sarva samaha. I am the same in all. Shuddhaha, pure. Nissangaha, unattached. Nirmalaha, no impurities, no stains, uncontaminated. Achalaha, motionless. Very self-explanatory. These are pointers to reflect on during your meditation. Number 36. Nitya Shuddha Vimuktai Kam Akanda Madvayam Satyam Gnanamanantam Yate Param Brahma Hameva Tat. Nitya Shuddha Vimuktaha Ekam. Nityam should be added to each word. Nitya Shuddham, Nitya Vimuktam, Nitya Ekam. So I am ever pure. I am ever free. I am ever non-dual. Akhanda Anandam Advayam. This is the nature of Atma. I am undivided, homogeneous, happiness, Ananda, bliss. Not reflected happiness, not Koshananda, Paramananda. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Yat Param Brahma. That Param Brahma, which is defined in the Upanishad as Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam is what? Trikale Tishtati Iti Sat. That which is permanent in all three periods of time. The past, the present, and the future. Gnanam is not vritti gnanam, not objective knowledge, but absolute knowledge. Gnana swarupam. Then we can add many more Brahma Lakshanas, pointers. Then the question comes, how long I should be doing this? Now the next shloka gives us the answer to that. Evam nirantara vyasta brahmaiva smiti vasana haratya vidya vikshepan. Famous quote, Roga Nivarasayanam. Nirantara abhyasa. By constant practice, no break. Continuous contemplation, Brahma eva iti vasana. I am Brahma asmi. Nirgunaha aham asmi. Asangaha aham asmi. Kevalaha aham asmi. Nityaha aham asmi. Nirmalaha aham asmi. Shantaha aham asmi. By that kind of practice, what does it do? It destroys. Harati avidya vikshepan. Ignorance. Other agitations. Vikshepa. How? Now comes the famous quote. Roganeva rasayanam. Just like they give this medicine, especially in Ayurveda, that rasayana, which seeps into our bloodstream, that aushadha, to cure the disease. Same way, gnanabhyasat vinirmalam. This nididhyasana, this constant contemplation, brahmachintanam, what it does, it gets rid of the chronic disease of our ignorance. See, the difference is, while the rasayana, the medicine may cure the vyadhi, the disease of the body. But nididhyasana cures the mother of all diseases, anadi, anirvachya, those vasanas. Going to the 38th verse. Atmanyevakilam Drushyam. I'm sorry. 37. We covered just 37. 38. Vivikta Desha Asinaha Virago Vijitendriyaha Bhavaye Dekamatmanam Tamananta Ananyadihi. In this shloka, some instructions are given for this meditation, contemplation. Vivikta Desha Asinaha. Find a quiet place somewhere. Doesn't have to be the caves or the Himalayas, in your own private room. Quiet place for solitude. Asinaha, be seated. Similar instruction we can find in the Kaivalya Upanishad also. Vivikta Deshe Sukhasinastaha Shuchihi, a clean place. Samagrivaha Shariraha, having the firm posture. Similar references are in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6 and 13. Viragaha, with mental discipline. Don't carry all your worldly problems at that time. Drop all the identity. Free from desires. Vijitendriyaha, control of the senses. Not agitated indriyas. Vijitendriya. Then, bhavayet. What a beautiful word. Meditate on what? Ekam Atman. That Atma, the one without the second. Ananyadihi. Ananya. With single pointed focus. No, with unwavering attention. Meditate with no other thought in our mind. In this sequestered setting, he uses the word bhavayet. Ekam anantam tam atmanam bhavayet. That bhavana is an integrated function of the head and the heart. Bhava. Okay, we will come to the final shloka on this topic today. Number 39. Atmanye vakhilam drushyam pravilapya dhiya sudhihi bhavaye dekamatmanam Nirmala Akashavatsada. Now, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is giving two technical terms in this shloka. This is the last shloka on this topic. Sudhihi, a Viveki person, a Gnani who has understood the Shastra through Shravanam. Akilam Drushyam Atmani Eva Pravilapya. He has intelligently dissolved. Pravilapya means dissolution. Dissolved the entire world of objects in Atma alone. First I do Vivichya. Separate Atma, Anatma. Atma, Anatma, Vivechanam. Tandulam Yata, all that he gave, lot of examples, right? Then I know Anatma has no independent existence. Like the snake on the rope. I dissolve the anatma in atma. Ekam atmanam bhavayet. Constantly contemplate on that one atma, one self. How? Nirmala akashavat. See, space has, which is always uncontaminated. There are a lot of things in space, but it's asangha. See, our Swamiji used to advise us to do this in 3 stages in our lives. Stage 1 is prior to Mahavakyas Shravanam. Like a prerequisite, we need to do the Saguna Upasana. Ramadhyana, Shivadhyana, Devi Upasana. While I am listening to Vedanta, knowledge is not taking place, may not be taking place. In stage 2, we have to do Chintanam, Vedanta Chintanam. The Vedanta Shravanam will remove ignorance and tell me that I am Brahman. But samshaya is there, doubts persist. Viparita bhavana, old habitual tendencies, erroneous notions persist. That is removed by Gnana Abhyasa, Nirantara Abhyasa. First, the mind is prepared with Upasana. Deha Bhava is still there, Jiva Bhava is still there. Take it to Brahmatma Bhava. Now I am practicing. So what is the result of this realization? We will cover that topic next week from shlokas 40 through 46. Please rejoin. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrutyorma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all be healthy. May all be happy. May all see auspiciousness. May none suffer. Om peace, peace, peace. With that, I'll open it up for Q&A.